It's Ashley from Sweet Dreams Bake Shop, and welcome to Fail Friday. This is the series where I either fix your baking fails, my baking fails, or I tell you how to avoid a fail. And today we're going to be looking at the items that I tried to sell at my home baking business that completely failed. Just a disclaimer here, I am by no means a marketing expert. I am just talking about my own experiences of me trying to sell the following items and failing. So let's get into it. So one thing you should know is that when I first opened up my home baking business, I really had this vision that I wanted it to be kind of vintage and based on old-fashioned treats. I guess I just naively thought that I needed some sort of branding or marketing or whatever. You guys know what I think about marketing and branding in terms of your home baking business. If you don't, then you can go ahead and click that video in the right-hand corner. Anyway, I really wanted these old-fashioned treats, and so one of the things that I learned how to make specifically so I could sell them for the home baking business was peanut brittle. Yep, peanut brittle. You know, the classic crunchy treat that's a little bit hard on your teeth, and it's also nice and sweet. Now, old-fashioned candy making is awesome. I've seen a lot of shops sell these types of things and be successful with it. But when it comes to the actual baking world and somebody coming to order from an at-home baking business, chances are this is very low down on their list. I think that any of these items that I'm going to be talking about could work if they were in like a treat box, for example. But by themselves, I think it's a pretty hard sell to call up an at-home baker and ask them to make peanut brittle. I tried bringing these to markets and selling them there, and I would sell maybe 1 or 2 bags out of like the 50 bags that I made. So I definitely have to say that this one is a fail for numerous reasons as well. Even though this product is really easy to make, that's part of the problem. It's so easy to make that most people can either make it at home or really it's just not that popular. Not a lot of people can eat nut products, and not a lot of people can handle that hard candy on their teeth. This one might be a little bit of a shocker, but chocolate chip cookies. I am in love with the chocolate chip cookies that I make. I think they're delicious, they're caramelized, they're chewy, yum. But again, it's one of those things that a lot of people make. And it's also one of those things where people feel a lot of pride about their chocolate chip cookies. So maybe they would rather use their grandmother's recipe than come out to me and directly place an order well in advance. So the caveat here is that I think chocolate chip cookies do sell well when you are not a home baking business. So when you are an actual storefront and you've got chocolate chip cookies that are available for sale, I think that does really well because it's kind of like, oh, I'll just throw in a chocolate chip cookie here, I'll get a cupcake there. But in terms of selling them for your at-home baking business, if that's not the core of your business, chances are it's not going to sell very well. This one, I think, was really shocking for me to discover that it wasn't doing well, especially because it seemed like it was trending at the time. In fact, the trend actually blew up even further after I had already brought these out, and that is meringues. Meringues are great, they're gluten-free, and they are fat-free, despite the fact that they have a lot of sugar. But for some reason, I just didn't sell a lot of these. At the markets, I would try to sell bags of meringues and it just never worked out. Even my custom meringues really never did that well. I still kept them on the menu, but I literally think maybe 1 or 2 people ever ordered them. They're just not that great in terms of bang for buck, I think. Now, meringues is something that not everybody can do. There is a little bit of finesse and skill to making the perfect meringue. And I did offer shaped meringues, but I think back then when I was trying to sell them, it wasn't as trending. Now I see meringue pops blowing up all over Instagram and all over social media. So perhaps if I were selling things still and I tried again, then I might do well. But I definitely think that if you're just making kind of rustic looking meringues piled atop, they're probably not going to do that great unless maybe you have super specialized flavors or something like that. I'm not quite sure, but for me, it just really didn't work out. The other thing about meringues is that they were really, really difficult to package. Now, where I live, it can be a little bit humid sometimes, so that meringue does weep after a while if you don't package it correctly. Now, I did learn after a while how to package them, but by the time I had learned how to package them, nobody was ordering them. The next thing is pie. Surprisingly, I could not sell pie for the life of me. I did get into pies a little bit later on in my career, but when I posted a pie, it's not like somebody asked me, can I order that pie? How do I order one? Again, I think this kind of falls into that chocolate chip cookie thing. A lot of people would rather use their own recipes to make pie, or if you go to the grocery store, a pie is really, really cheap. And maybe if you're not a pie connoisseur, then your pie standards are low, so you're not looking for anything amazing. I know for myself, before I started really baking, my mother would go to the store and pick up an apple pie from Safeway, and we would heat it up and put ice cream on it, and it tasted great. Once I started making my pies, then I realized what the difference was between the crusts and the fillings. I think one way I could have marketed my pies better is starting to do more different types of pies. I did later on in my career start making fancier pies, and I think maybe if you have a fancier pie crust or really, really interesting flavors, then perhaps I would have been able to sell my pies a little bit better. But at that time, when my skill level wasn't quite where it is now, I was not successful selling pie. Now, I want to wrap this up by saying that all of these things probably do have their own little niche. And I know a lot of people that only sell those particular things and are really, really successful. But I think because my social media was so focused on the decorated cookies and the decorated cakes, those other things became very secondary. When you're a home baker, people are often relying on what your pictures look like. So I think some people have the mentality that, well, their stuff looks really great, and I'm wanting something that looks really great, and the taste is secondary. So if you're going into it thinking that, then you're not gonna purchase something like a chocolate chip cookie, which really, let's be honest, is for the taste. We're not really caring what it looks like. I hope that video helped you in some way. Maybe it's gonna give you a little bit of insight to you at-home bakers that are starting out about what you're gonna sell and what you're not going to sell. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can be part of this sweetie fam. Right now, I'm uploading daily, so make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. Also, be sure to comment, request, or ask a question. I love hearing from you guys. Bye!
Also, be sure to submit your baking fail, and it could be fixed by next Friday.